automobile industry has seen dramatic changes over the last decade. As we look ahead to the next 10 years, what changes should an industry expert expect and how should they prepare? Last night, WFXR's Bill Waddell covered some of the changes the automobile industry is facing in the future. But here to discuss those changes and go a little deeper into how leaders deal with dramatic changes in their industry, Linda McNutt-Foster, CEO of Cortex Leadership Consulting, and William Farrell, president of Berglund Automotive. Thanks both of you for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Kathlyn. Thanks for having us.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start with Linda this morning because leaders in every industry, they need to focus on what's changing. They need to adapt. But why is the automobile industry changing so much right now?
I think what William said last night was that the strongest computer is probably in your garage. And what's interesting about dealers that have multiple franchises like William in the car business is he's not creating the innovation in the actual product. He's got to create it in the delivery and the sales process. So he has to really work collaboratively with the manufacturers and all his salespeople and all his vendors and everything in a really unique, expansive kind of way.
Well, and William, that may be one of the struggles then. How do you get it to a point where the car salesmen and some of the people working on your team, they are able to understand all of the technology?
Right, well, these cars are so technologically advanced right now, we have to, we've got new people in the dealership. We call them sometimes geniuses, kind of like after, I guess, the Apple computer. So after the salesperson learns all about the cars, or the genius does, they'll, once we sell the car to the consumer, we spend a lot of time in the delivery process, inside the car, pairing the phone, and sometimes pairing your house with the car. All the safety features, and that's one of the biggest changes with the cars nowadays, is the safety. I mean, these cars and the manufacturers are working so hard to keep they say, keep their hands on the wheels and the eyes on the road instead of on the other distractions or devices. So all of your personal devices interact, with the car. So we don't mind this. We actually love this. Is we'll have the customer back, for the second and third delivery, as we call it, because there's so much going on when you're buying a car. I mean, you pick your car, you're talking about money and finances, and then now all of a sudden it's now time to learn about your new automobile, right? And it's been a while sometimes, and people are there, so we try to invite them back to come back and go over it again and again, and we'll visit their homes sometimes and go over it at their house and make sure their garage doors are working properly and all those things.
Well, because it's stressful for some people, especially for those people, maybe older adults, or some people just don't really know a lot about technology. So taking them step by step is important.
Yeah, those customers' touch points are really vital in every industry anymore, because you don't really get a chance to touch the customer a lot of times one-on-one. And what I love about the Farrell family is, they've been operating Berglund for 47 years, but for 35 years they've owned it. And so they really understand the industry very well, and their business and their customer.
Well, it's important, and correct me if I'm wrong here, for any business owner or business leader to stick with the changes, but also remember what from the past is still important.
Right. Well, still people business is still about people, sitting across from a table and making a relationship. And we always say people buy from people they like. So it's all about that. So nowadays it really starts with the computer at somebody's living room, and that's one of the biggest changes we've seen. Probably back when we were all growing up and buying cars, we'd go visit 5 or 6 or 7 dealerships, and now the average customer visits 1.5 dealerships physically. Wow. So a lot of that work happens at the living room or kitchen table, and the customer comes in much more knowledgeable about what they want, which is great. They've done some pricing research, they've done maybe some work on the phone, and then they make the appointment with the salesperson and come in. So when that happens, it's all about the knowledge, and it's verifying the information that the consumer has found out online. And so we have to be aware of everything out there as well, and make that relationship. And it's still about trust and standing behind what we do. And that's one of the things that really we put a stake in the ground for our business with all of our employees and the brands we represent, is just do what you say you're going to do. Yep. And that's just it seems simple, but sometimes tough to do.
Thanks both of you for being with us this morning.
Absolutely.
Jason?